Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 10:18 p.m. on this very hot and muggy Wednesday evening going into Thursday. It is currently 82 degrees outside. Did you guys ever see that movie, Body Heat, with Kathleen Turner, where she's sitting down in front of the house and she's smoking a cigarette and she's got that long white robe on? It feels tonight like that movie looks. Do you guys remember that movie? That movie was so great. I actually have the entire soundtrack of that movie. I can't remember the orchestra. The soundtrack is beautiful to that movie, Body Heat. But if you like instrumental music, my Diet Coke right here. It's my favorite cup that has a picture of pee-pee on it. If you like instrumental music, my two favorite instrumental soundtracks are To Kill a Mockingbird and Body Heat. And I can't remember who did it. But I feel like that soundtrack may have come out right after my mom passed away, because it was a friend of ours, both my mom and I, that introduced me to that soundtrack. And I have the whole thing. I have the CD somewhere in the basement, I'm sure. But I don't really have, I don't listen to CDs in my car because I don't have a CD player anymore. So I bought the whole, I bought the whole soundtrack. Another soundtrack that's great is the movie Rush. And the whole soundtrack is done by Eric Clapton. And it's a really great soundtrack. I don't love that movie, what was I going to say? I don't love that one song that he sings on the soundtrack. But other than that, the soundtrack is really good. I think that's the song that he wrote for his child that passed away. I think it was kind of a tragic accident. Tears from Heaven, I think is that song called, or something. I don't really love that song. I'm not a huge Eric Clapton fan, which is interesting that I really like that soundtrack. But the soundtrack is fantastic. That movie is really, really good. If you've never seen the movie Rush before, it's about two DEA officers that end up getting hooked on heroin. It's with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Jason Patric. It's so good. Jason Patric from the Lost Boys. I wonder what happened to him. So I have my Diet Coke. Cheers. And then these are the San Pellegrinos that I bought. It's this gold can. Isn't this so pretty? Very bougie looking, isn't it? I feel so bougie with that. I haven't tried them yet here, so we'll do a little review in a second. So my day, since I got done vlogging earlier, which was yesterday's vlog, I was gonna have this amazing pool day, and I literally could not get anybody to go to the pool with me. I did talk to Tanya, and she was doing a bunch of stuff around the house, and she's like, if I do go, it's not gonna be till late afternoon, and I'll text you. And I think I never heard from her, and I think the reason why is because it just got really, really cloudy. And then I called my cousin, and I called Melissa, and I called my sponsor. I couldn't get anybody to go to the pool with me today. So I came home, and I was uploading the vlog and the review video that I did. And then And then I was gonna film a Peterisms video and stuff, and I was like, just go to the pool, because by then it was 1 o'clock, and I was like, just go to the pool. So I got my stuff together, and I looked outside, and by the time that I was coming home from getting my vlog done and stuff, it was already clouding up a little bit, but it didn't look too bad. So I drove, when I was leaving my neighborhood, I drove down to my pool, and there was some people in the pool. So I was like, you know what, there weren't a lot, but it was the lady that's in charge of landscaping and stuff, and she's not fun to just kind of sit there and talk with, you know? So anyway, I was like, whatever. So I went and got my coffee, and then I drove to the pool that Tanya and I both belong to. And when I was pulling up, like, everybody was leaving. There weren't a lot of people there anyway, and everybody was leaving. So I was like, there were some dark clouds, and I was like, is this because of, like, lightning or rain? Because the last time that Tanya and I were there, it was 2 times ago that we went. We got there, and whenever it was when we went for a night swim, and they said that there had been lightning sighted, so they had to close the pool for an hour, and you couldn't even be, like, on the deck of the pool or anything. So I came in, and there were people sitting around the deck, but the lifeguards were, like, closing the umbrellas and stuff. And so there's this woman she's always there. I've been trying not to mess with that cold sore today in hopes that it'll just kind of go away. And I was like, are they closing the pool or something? And she said, well, there was thunder. Thunder. They closed the pool for thunder. It's so ridiculous. And she said, so nobody can get, or I said, can I get in the pool? And she was like, no, nobody can get in the pool for 30 minutes because of the thunder. She said, but it's been about 20 minutes now, so it shouldn't be too much longer. And I said, oh, okay. And I kind of put my bag there, and I was just kind of, I just stood, because I was like, I don't know what to do. And literally, like, as I was standing there trying to decide, I was like, because I said to her, I said, I should have just gone in my pool in my neighborhood. And as I was sitting there trying to decide what I was going to do, like, it was just thunder overhead. And I was like, grab my bag, and I was like, well, let's go to the pool. So I went back to my neighborhood pool, and by the time that I got to my neighborhood pool, there was nobody there, but it was completely cloudy by that point. I should have just gone to the pool this morning at like 10 o'clock. So by the time that I got to the pool, it was like cloudy and there was nobody there. And so I was like all this running back and forth. And so then I got to the pool, and I sat in the pool with my little coffee by myself. And I was so bored. And so I got out, I swam for a little bit, I did some handstands and dove around and whatever, you know. And then I got out, and I was sitting at the table, and I was just listening to this audiobook that I'm trying to get through. And so I was sitting there listening to that for a little bit, and then finally I was just like, this is stupid, I could be taking a nap or something. And that was at like 3:30. So I went home, let the dogs out, texted Alex, because I didn't know, he sometimes gets off early on Wednesdays, and told him that I was going to lay down for a little bit, but he said he wouldn't be home till like 6:45 or 7, and that he was going to get Chipotle on the way home, and I didn't want anything. Oh, when I came home from the pool, I ate some, like, hummus and stuff like that. And I finished that California Entertainer of the Year drag pageant that I was watching. So, and then I talked to my cousin Caroline. That Coke tastes kind of flat or something. It's weird. Then I talked to my cousin Caroline for, like, a half an hour, 40 minutes. And then, just catching up and stuff. And then, what else? Texted Valerie, talked to her a little bit today. Oh, look at their dog, it's so cute. And then, laid down and took a nap. And I was so tired. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because I got up early, but I got so much sleep last night, you know? And I was like, so those videos have been uploading, the vlog and the review video, and I was like, I'm gonna lay down from 4:30 to 6, and then I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna film a Peterisms video, and I'm gonna film a drama video. I already knew the drama video I was gonna make, and I was like, and I'm gonna film a Peter Does Stuff video, and if I have time before Alex gets home, then I will do my July wrap-up for my BookTube channel. And, like, the alarm went off at 6 o'clock, and I just, like, looked up at the dog. Poot Radley was, like, so sweet in his little circle, you know, gets in this little circle. And, I just was like, I'm gonna add another half an hour. So, like, I just, like, turned off the alarm. And then I had my phone turned on and I had it like right next to me, and Alex called and he was like, I'm on my way home. Do you want anything? And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm still in bed. And then he came home and he was eating his dinner downstairs and stuff like that. And I said, I'm just going to lay down for a little bit longer. And he was like, all right, babe. And so he came upstairs and he was like, are you okay? And I said, yeah. I said, I just been in like bed for like the last couple hours. Like, I just really don't, like, I was going to make all these videos and then I decided not to. And he was like, well, are you sad? And I go, I don't feel sad about anything. You know what I mean? And he goes, so you just took a day off and took a nap? And I go, yeah, I guess. And I said, but I just feel like I'm kind of beating myself up about it. And he was like, because you took a day off and didn't make videos? And I said, well, yeah, like, and I had all this stuff I wanted to do. I said I wanted to clean the corner of this room and whatever. And he goes, well, you can do it tomorrow. And I was like, yeah. He goes, babe, you don't take very many days off where you don't do anything. And I said, well, I vlogged and I filmed a review video. And he just kind of laughed. And he goes, like I said, you rarely ever take a day. He goes, and never like two, because I said, oh, well, one Sunday I didn't film videos. And he goes, well, you never take like 2 days off where you just don't film anything, you know? And he was like, it's totally fine. And I was like, I know, but I feel like it's a waste of a day, you know? I did listen to a lot of my audiobook today though, but mostly because I'm just wanting to get it done. So, I don't know, I think maybe I just needed a day to like, not like just do a whole lot or something, I don't know. So, that was my day. So tomorrow, I've already made my list for tomorrow. I've already got it all segmented out of everything that I want to get done and everything that I'm going to do tomorrow. So I've got that already. I already got the videos planned out that I'm going to make tomorrow. And yeah, so that's tomorrow. And Alex, he goes into work and he works late tomorrow night. So he goes into work late and then he works late tomorrow night. So yeah, and that's that. My stomach was hurting a lot today too. And I don't know if it was, you know, like Monday night, I went to my friend's house and she made like these like organic pizzas and caprese salad. And then yesterday I had like hummus, and I know this is going to sound stupid. It's not like it's the healthiest food in the world, but it's healthier than what I have been eating. And my stomach was just kind of like in knots today. I was just like, I didn't feel queasy. It just was kind of like, I don't know. I thought, well, maybe it's because I've been, you know, eating a little bit healthier the last couple days. But I did have a little bit of ice cream last night, so. Was that 2 nights ago? Was that last night or 2 nights ago? I can't even remember. And it wasn't even that good and I shouldn't have had it. But anyway, that was my day today. So, do you ever have days where you just like don't get a whole lot done and you kind of beat yourself up for it later? That's kind of what I was doing tonight. Alex was so funny. He's like, you know, because like with my friends and like Alex and stuff that are off, like, you know, Saturdays and Sundays or 2 days off or whatever, like those are like their designated days to not do anything. Like they don't have a problem just like, you know, going to eat and then coming back and like taking a 2-hour nap. Like, you know, Alex isn't, my friends do this too, you know, and like watching 4 episodes of some show. I like struggle so hard doing that, you know? So, I don't know, maybe today was good for me. But, I got a lot to do tomorrow. So, about this book that I'm reading, We Were Never Here. It just came out. I feel like it was on the bestseller list or something that I saw. I don't know. This book is making me so nervous. I don't really like it, honestly. But I mean, I have like 38 minutes left to listen to it. I just was like figuring it out before I left. I have 38 minutes left to finish until I'm done with it. And then I actually think I'm going to listen to that 9 Perfect Strangers. I wanted to listen to something shorter, so I may listen to something shorter first and then 9 Perfect Strangers. because that's the Leanne Moyerty book that they turned into a show that's going to be on HBO, and I kind of wanted to watch that maybe while we were in Las Vegas. Although, somebody tweeted out something tonight about the show The White Lotus that's on HBO, and it looks really, really good, so I'm thinking about maybe watching that as well. But anyway, have you guys seen this show, The White Lotus? Have you seen it? It's got Jennifer Coolidge in it, and that one comedian from Saturday Night Live, I can't think of her name. The one that does Actually I'm 50 and I Like to Kick. It's that one. I can't think of her name. But there's like a lot of other people in it that are really, really good. So I want to watch that. There's so many things I want to watch. And then my friend told me about this documentary called, what is that guy doing at that car, like that little car place there? They've got like this little car dealership. He's just standing out there in the middle of the night. She told me of this documentary. I think it's called The Reckoning. It's on Discovery Plus. I have it written down. I can actually tell you what it is here in just a second. I'll tell you this stuff. She said it is one of the best documentaries she has ever seen. And it's like this missing persons documentary. Okay, it is called Relentless. And it's on Discovery Plus. So I'm trying to sit here and figure out how to watch Discovery Plus, right? And I can't figure it out. So apparently, it's $4.99 a month, and you can pay for the streaming app. It's like, how many streaming apps do I need to have at this point? I will tell you though, tonight I was watching on Tubi. Did you guys have Tubi? I love Tubi so much because it's got all these old movies on there, you know, that like nobody has watched in forever. That's actually where I watched Angel and Angel 2 when I was doing those reviews on my review channel that nobody cared about. Bad Movie Mondays. That was fun for the 2 weeks that it lasted. But anyway, I was like, oh, I'm gonna look on Tubi tonight, because sometimes Tubi has like really bad horror movies that you like haven't heard of forever, like Motel Hell. Like I've always wanted to watch that movie Motel Hell ever since I was a kid, and I never have because it always looked so scary to me. But anyway, so I got on Tubi tonight, and Jaws 2, the original Jaws 1, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws 4 are all on Tubi. But they're leaving soon. They're in the category called leaving soon. So, I was watching the original Jaws tonight. And I said to Alex, as he was upstairs like playing this game, and I said, guess what I'm watching? He goes, what? And I said, Jaws. And he goes, are you scared? And I said, I'm always scared watching this movie. Yeah, this book, Wish We Were Here, or We Were Never Here. It's just, I don't know. It's very, it's an edge of your seat kind of book, but for me, not in a good way. Like, it's anxiety, like, inducing. Like, it makes me nervous. I don't like to read it. It's not like, oh, I wonder what happened, or who did this, or who did that. It's none of that. It's like anxiety inducing. And, yeah, I'm just kind of ready for it to end. And I don't think it's going to end in a good way either. I don't know how it can end in a good way. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. If the book didn't just come out, I would tell you guys more about it and my thoughts, but yeah. I think I need to start doing more reviews on my my booktube channel. And you know what, I was just sitting here thinking to myself, I'm thinking I'm gonna do like complete like spoiler reviews. Like, I cannot get in a video anymore and talk like around a book's topics and what happens. Like, I think I'm just gonna get into, if I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna start doing reviews again, because I really enjoy doing reviews. That's how I was doing so many videos, was I was doing reviews because I thought for the author and for the, you know, the publisher or whatever, that was fair for them. So I think I'm gonna start doing more reviews again on my booktube channel. But what I think I'm gonna do is, like, you know, people always do these spoiler-free reviews. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna say, hey, this is not a spoiler-free review. I'm gonna be giving my honest opinion and telling you what I really think about this book, and telling you details of the book. So if you haven't read this book, don't watch this video, because it'll just spoil it for you. That's what I'm gonna do from now on, so I can really talk about a book, because there's some things I'd like to say about this book. And you know, like, that's the real reason I got on booktube anyway, was to talk about books. And if I can't talk about books because I'm talking around what the book is really about, then what's the point in doing the review? You know what I mean? There, I just made my mind up on that one. Should we try this? I just did a whole entire circle. So, since I'm right back at where I was showing this, almost, I just passed that part. Should I try this San Pellegrino? This is the lemon and lemon zest. I just trimmed my nails today and they're real short, so I'm like having a hard time opening this container. Okay. Let's smell it first. The can is like matte, like a matte can. I found this in the sparkling water selection, so you can too. And it was a case that came with, I think, 6 in there. It's good. It's lighter than the limoncello, like not as lemony. I don't mind it. It's definitely more of like the LaCroix flavors are definitely more like stronger flavors. It's definitely more just like, what do you call it? Like, there's just like kind of a hint of it. What is this called? Lemon and lemon zest. Yeah, it's good. They had a bunch of these coffee drinks, which I thought were kind of like weird. They had a bunch of these like coffee and chocolate, coffee and this, mocha and this, and I was like, are these coffee sparkling drinks? Because I did try that with the LaCroix ones, and they were actually in tall bottles like this, and they were nasty. I hated them. When Tanya and I were at Meijer last night, it's like almost all of the like back to school stuff is already like they're already bringing out the next season. Like the summer stuff is already put away. The back to school stuff at Meijer is like, you know, like they have a whole section of like back to school or Halloween or Christmas, you know what I mean? Okay, well, they haven't put the Halloween stuff out yet. I don't know what's going to be in between there, but the back to school stuff is like where it was like this huge middle section where they have like backpacks and pencils and pens and all that kind of stuff, you know. And then they have like the, I didn't see these this year, maybe it's just at Walmart that I've seen these before, but they have like, you know, the pieces of paper that tell you for what you need for each school and stuff. And then you go through there and you buy all that stuff, like protractor that you never use, and a pair of scissors that you never use, and all that kind of stuff. I used to love shopping for school stuff when I was a little kid, and I'd always have to have, like, you know, the right, like, supply box. Do you guys remember your supply boxes and all that kind of stuff? I loved it. There were pieces of school that I really, really enjoyed, you know, when I was a little kid, and I remember going to the library a lot. Not like the public library, but like the library at the school. And I remember this girl that was actually, it's interesting, I don't think much about her when I talk about like my friends all the way through, because she really was like, we were in kindergarten together, this other girl. I don't think I've ever talked about her on here, actually. If I did, it was in reference to something else, which I'll probably tell in a second. But we were friends in kindergarten, elementary, all the way through. And then she went to a different college that I did. And, but we were still kind of friendly. I don't know really, like, when we stopped talking, honestly. I don't know what it was. But she stole stuff from, I had some friends out. My dad and my stepmom were, like, out of town for the day or something like that. And so I had some people over to my dad's house to go boating. And she stole some stuff. And like, my stepmom was not happy about it. And it was like a bottle of perfume from my stepmom and this bracelet and stuff. And so, you know, of course they confronted me about it. And I was like, I don't know anything about it. We were just like swimming at the pool. I mean, it was a very innocent day. Like, we were just swimming at the pool, going out in the boat and stuff like that. And it was literally like 4 of my friends. Like, I really did not think anything was, I thought maybe my stepmom had misplaced it or something. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, one of my really dear friends saw the perfume in her purse. Like, she brought it out. And I'm still kind of blown away by it to this day. But anyway, she denied it, and she denied it, and she denied it. And I can't remember, something kind of happened. Like, my friend said, if you want me to confront her for you, I will. And I, like, confronted her with it, and I said something, and she kind of, like, got in my face about it. I can't remember what happened, but I was just like, she wasn't going to admit to it. And so I just kind of let it go. And that's probably a moment that I probably should have stood up for that is a moment that I definitely should have stood up for myself. And it was interesting because then years later, well, somehow it came up at the reunion, and I did stand up for myself that time, and was just kind of like, I couldn't believe it. Like, she brought it up. Like, she was like, do you remember, like, when you, like, you know, like, you thought it, like, I was the one that, like, and I thought, this is so weird because she and I remained friends, like, after this, for, like, years after this. Like, I did this whole, like, when I took, like, a art class, and we had to do, like, a photography project. Or what was the class that I took? I can't remember, but it was a sociology class or something. I don't know, maybe it was an art class. I don't remember. But I did this whole, like, slideshow, and I had, like, all these people over to my apartment. And she was, like, one of the people that was in that slideshow. And, like, I was friends with her. She used to go out with us. Like, that was probably till, like, my 2nd or 3rd year in college that... Well, no, because I wasn't friends with her after I got sober. I don't remember why. Like, I don't really remember what happened while we stopped being friends. But anyway, flash forward all those years, Alex and I show up to the reunion, and we're sitting there, and I saw her, and it was, you know, whatever. It was good to see her, I guess. And so we're sitting there talking, and she, like, brought it up. She was like, do you remember something like when you, I honest to God can't even remember how she brought it up, but it was like, do you remember when you thought I was the one that did that? And I looked at her and I said, I didn't, it wasn't that I thought that you did, it was that you did. And she goes, what are you talking about? And I said, you stole this stuff from my dad and my stepmom. I said, I know you did. I said, so-and-so saw it. in your purse. I said, it's factual. I said, and by the time that it was all said and done, like, several people had seen it and she had told somebody. So it wasn't like speculation, like, she told somebody that she did it. And I was like, I'm not gonna sit here, and I looked at her and I said, I'm not gonna sit here and play this game, like, all these years later, like, you didn't do it, or something like that. And she goes, it stopped right when I was getting really heated. But anyway, she turned and she looked at me and she said, well, I guess then we don't need to be friends, or something like that. I mean, we hadn't even talked in, like, you know, years. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, you know, like, here it is again. She's turning it on me. You know, apparently I'm the one that did something wrong in this situation. And I just looked at her and I said, I do remember this distinctly. I said, I relieve you of the duty of being or the responsibility of being my friend, or something like that. I was like, you don't need to be my friend anymore. We don't need to be friends anymore. You know, like, had she looked at me and said, I did, you know, I was a teenager that made poor choices and I did steal that stuff, and I'm, like, really sorry for it and I feel bad. I mean, I'm not even asking, you know, 20 years later for, paying me for it, you know what I mean? Like, but my dad to this day has a bolt lock door on his bedroom door to this day. And like, back in the day, like, I haven't house sat for them in a long time, but when I did, and dog sit for them and stuff like that, like, that bolt door lock was on, and I would sleep in, like, the guest bedroom, and that door was locked, you know, because I didn't trust friends of mine coming over and stuff. And it wasn't the only bolted locked door in the house either. There was also, well, I think some of the stuff wasn't just because of that. I think some of the stuff was because my dad had a really hard time getting over me being, you know, an addict in recovery that wasn't trustworthy. And even though, you know, like, the years went by and he did trust me, I think there was a big part of it. It wasn't just based on that one event, but the original lock on the door was from that event. I think it just makes you wonder sometimes, like, do people really change, you know? I'm telling you right now, what's funny about this is, there's a friend of mine from high school that watches my vlog. She watches every day, and she knows this person. I know she does. And I have to believe that she remembers this story, probably. Because she was a year behind me, and so she was friends with the girl that, like, saw her with the perfume and stuff. I just can remember, you know, like, when she came to me and she told me, she's like, I've got to tell you something. And I was like, what? And she was like, I saw her with the perfume. I felt so betrayed. Like, you know, I didn't really have a lot of people I could trust anyway. Yes, obviously, this friend of mine that told me. But and to this day, that friend of mine is, like, a genuinely good person. As are most of my friends that I had in high school. I mean, most of them are, like, really just good people. And, but I've attracted a few crazies through the years. Tanya says that she's like, always like, we attract the crazies. I'm like, Tanya, I don't know if I like the can more or I like the water more. I think I like the can more. It's not bad. But Tanya, like, when we were in the store, she was like, I hate sparkling water. And I go, well, it is an acquired taste. But the LaCroix is honestly better. They didn't have the limoncello. That's why I got this. But I did get coconut. Because I really like the coconut water. Because I thought, well, I can drink that by the pool. yeah, like if she had said to me, you know, like all those years later, hey, like, you know, I was just a crazy teenager that made poor choices, and I'm embarrassed about it to this day, or I'm not embarrassed about it to this day, but, you know, like, I just wanted you to know I did it, and, you know, whatever. I would have been like, okay, I mean, well, thanks for owning up to it. I appreciate it. You know, all these years later, at least, you know, I don't think I'm crazy. It's not like I was going to call the police or whatever, but to sit there and continue to perpetuate the lie. And no, this wasn't some girl that, like, because I know that there's going to be that one or two people out there that are going to be like, well, maybe people were just making it up to get, no, she wasn't that type of person. This girl was bold and confident, and they weren't trying to bring her down. It fit something that she would do. And honestly, it's kind of surprising that in retrospect, like when my dad said something to me about it, that I didn't think possibly that it could have been her, because she had done other things like that. So it kind of surprised me, you know, like when I found it out. I think that's part of why I felt so stupid in the whole situation, was because kind of like I should have known better, you know. And I did have, one of my friends did say that to me. She said to me, she was like, I would never have had her in my home, you know. It's funny because Alex and I used to say that with, like, people that we would know from going out. We would say, like, there are people that, like, I know well enough from going out that I would invite into my home, and there are people that I wouldn't. Isn't that strange? I'm real weird about my space, you know, and not just like my mom's house or my dad's house when I'm growing up. Yes, that I was very protective of. That's why, like, I think I felt real betrayed, because very rarely did I have friends out there. And typically if I did, it was only like one or two. I actually, you know what's interesting is, I think the friend of mine that watches this vlog, well, she's watching it right now, so if you're watching it, you know I'm talking to you. I think she was there that day, because I can remember, because she went to France as an exchange student. I believe it was France. And I can remember she came back, and she had on this, like, white bikini on the back of, and her hair was, like, all blonde and stuff on the back of the boat. I think she was there that day. But like I said, like, I rarely had friends out there, you know? And so to have friends out there, and then, and you know, the thing that was sad about it was that my dad and my stepmom always encouraged me to have people out there. They would be like, you know, my dad would say, like, I built this house for you to have fun out here. It's on the lake, and, you know, we have a pool, and we have a boat, and, you know, I wanted you to be able to have friends out here and to have fun, and, you know, whatever, with your friends in the summer. And I think it kind of, like, made him sad sometimes that I didn't have, like, tons and tons of friends, you know? And, so, like, they would get excited when I would have people out there, you know? It's like, I can remember one of the best nights ever, and this was actually after that, was, it was myself and, like, two of my girlfriends, and we were watching scary movies in the basement, and my dad had gone to, my one friend, she still brings this up to this day, had gone to Zubilation, which was this fundraiser for the zoo here in Indianapolis that just happened. I've told this story on here before, and my dad and my stepmom went with another couple, and so my dad and, like, they had gotten a limo. It was two other couples, I can't remember, but anyway, they had gotten a limo because they were drinking, all of them, and stuff like that, you know. So on the way back, my dad calls me, and he was like, we're going through White Castle, do you guys want anything? Now, if you guys have not had White Castles, they're sliders, okay? They come in a little box. I love the Impossible sliders that are like the plant-based ones, but they're just like, people joke and say, they're like crystals, if you have a crystals in the South. Is this out of focus? I cannot tell. But anyway, and they have onion chips and chocolate and vanilla milkshakes and French fries. They all come in these little, like, paper, like, boxes that look like little castles, right? I loved White Castles back in the day, but they will mess your stomach up. I mean, the truth. Back in the day, people would say, you eat White Castles, you get the booze. I mean, that's what people would say, you know? So anyway, I'm like, no, Dad, we don't want any White Castles. I'm like, God, like, I'm so embarrassed, right? That my dad's gonna, like, bring these White Castles. And he's like, you sure you don't want any White Castles? We're gonna get some. I'm like, no, I don't want any White Castles, Dad. He's like, okay, I'm gonna bring you some anyway. I said, Dad, don't bring us any White Castles. We don't want any White Castles. Of course, my friends were like, I think we might want a White Castle or two, you know? So my dad gets back, and we go upstairs to the kitchen, and the entire kitchen island, they have these things called crave cases, okay? And I don't know if they had them then, but they had something similar to that, which was like 25 White Castles, which a White Castle is like these little cheap greased up buns, okay? With like a cheeseburger patty and then like onions on it. And they're about that big, right? For one. And so my dad had bought like 3 of these crave cases, tons of onion chips, milkshakes. I mean, there was all this food on the kitchen counter. It looked like the kitchen was catered by White Castles. Oh my God, my friends loved it. They thought it was so hilarious. Well, they loved my dad anyway, because my dad was always like, what's going on here? These people on mopeds. Because my dad was always, he was always, why is my voice getting so scratchy all of a sudden? This is so weird. These people with like backpacks and mopeds are behind me. It's like they're in this like strip mall area that's like there's nobody here. It's like in the middle of the night. What are they doing back here? So anyway, my dad would always like put steaks on the grill and stuff like that when my friends were over, and you know, be like, hey, your friends want to hang out, you know, whatever. Anyway, my friends loved my dad and my stepmom. We had a good time. So my dad then is like gonna take these people, it was just this long night. He was gonna take these people out. They were real snooty. I don't know how he knew them, but he was gonna take them out for a boat ride at like midnight, you know? And they're going like down these stairs and down the side path in the woods to like where the boat dock was and stuff. It was hilarious. Anyway, fun times. I was thinking about house sitting out there the other day because when I was looking at that John Grisham book, I'm gonna move back to where that thing is. Do you believe that to be true? That there's like a sensor in the road? I don't know if I believe that or not. But I sat out there. I don't know which book I read. It was not A Time to Kill, but it was one of his long ones. It was one of John Grisham's long books. Because I was house sitting for my dad. And I was reading a John Grisham book, and it was like a big one like that. And I was also watching Twin Peaks. Like I watched it once already, all the way through, and I was watching it again. And I probably was, I feel like my first boyfriend was staying out there with me. So I was probably like 3 or 4 years sober at the time. Because he and I house sat a lot for my dad. But I remember sitting on that back patio. My dad has this gorgeous patio that like overlooks the pool and then overlooks the lake. And it's like got its green and white awning. It's very cool. And I can just and he's got all this like high top furniture out there and stuff like that. And I can remember sitting out there and making coffee and just like looking out over the lake while I was reading this book, and then going inside and watching Twin Peaks. I was never like super scared out there, but I was a little scared sometimes at my dad's house. It just was kind of like, I mean, it's out there in the middle of nowhere, you know? He's on like this little private drive and stuff like that. Sedation dentistry. My mom used to talk about that because somebody that she knew like hated the dentist, and she always talked about how you can do that sedation dentistry, which is basically where they put you under. There was a billboard for it. And then when you wake up, all your dental work is done. I don't think I'd like that. Tanya was going to get a frozen lasagna at the grocery store last night. And I was thinking about how Alex and I, we used to do like, not like meal prep, but I would buy stuff at the grocery store. We would go to Costco together, and so that he didn't have to. This was when we were, I think, more so like paying off our debt and stuff like that, or paying off my debt and stuff like that. Like our first 2 years together, our first year and a half together, I would get like a big family size lasagna, and then I would get like garlic bread, like a big garlic bread, you know, and cook those, and then we would have that for dinner. And then what was ever left over, Alex would put, like, fill it to the top with all of this. He put, you know, the bread in one container and the lasagna in the other container, and then he would take that to work, and that would be his, you know, his lunch the next day. He's always been so good about that stuff. And then we used to do that with pasta too, and chili. Oh, chili. He would like put sour cream and onions and crackers in little containers or baggies, you know, and then we would fill chili up to the brim. I would make chili, which I'll do that again this fall. I haven't done that in a while. I kind of want to get back to making some of the things that my mom made that I really liked, like a couple Christmases ago, now it's probably 8 or 9 Christmases ago, I made all of my mom's favorites and took them to Christmas. I took the deviled eggs that she made, orange bread. My mom used to make orange bread. And raw apple muffins. I feel like those were the 3 things. She used to make these raw apple muffins that, literally you would bite into them and there was raw apple inside of it. But it was like real soft. Raw apple, because it had been, you know, like heated and baked and stuff like that, but it was so good. I love those. Those were my favorites. I don't like love to cook all the time, but I kind of like sometimes get in the mood to cook. I just feel like it's just easier to go buy stuff, you know, and still have like nice things that, you know, but most of my friends love to cook. Like when I talked to Tanya today, I was like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I've made this. She made some kind of soup and biscuits and this and that. I mean, she loves to put out a spread. You know, all of my friends loved, well, Melissa's not a big cooker. But Melissa's an entertainer. She likes to have people over and put a spread out and have the cheese machine and the crock pots, and she does make badass chili. 25 cents for the cast jar, but it's worth it because she makes the best chili in the world. But and she always has all the fixings out too. I love that when you go to people's houses for chili. Caroline used to do that when she made chili, but she doesn't make chili anymore for Halloween. But back in the day, you know, I love when you go to somebody's house and they'll have like the chili. Well, Melissa, I've told this on here before, but Melissa for Halloween, Aaron's son, he was getting ready to go back to college, and you know what he wanted? All he wanted to go back before he went back to college was Melissa's chili. Wasn't that sweet? Anyway, I don't know if she made it for him because he told us that about a month ago. But Melissa makes chili for me, that's vegetarian, chili for Aaron with no beans in it, and then a big pot of regular chili for everybody else. Isn't that so nice? And then she puts out, you know, macaroni, and then like a big pot of macaroni, and then she puts out oyster crackers, cheese, like, you know, the mozzarella and the cheddar cheese, sprinkles, and then sour cream, onions, other stuff too. I can't think of what else. And then she makes cornbread and all kinds of stuff. It's so good. Oh my God. I love when people do that and they put out all the fixings for chili and stuff. It's funny because I actually did not grow up with that kind of chili, but my mom made fantastic chili. I loved her chili. And she would make, I can remember I asked her one time, I was like, how do you make your chili? Because your chili is so good. And she was like, oh, it's just from the back of a Chilio package. My mom's recipe for her chili was literally the packet, the instructions off the back of a Chilio package. And all she would do is put beans and ground beef and all that kind of stuff in there and put it in a packet of Chilio and then make it. And that's what I did a couple years ago. I don't know how to make a good vegetarian chili. I'll have to look up a recipe though, I guess. But Alex won't eat a vegetarian chili, so I'll have to make him one that has meat in it, or he can make it while I'm making my vegetarian one. He has actually found a cute food TikTok hack for us to do. So, to make ice cream, we're gonna do that. But my mom used to make it with spaghetti noodles, you know, like the long noodles, and she would just mix it right into the pot of chili, and then we would have the chili. Those blue bowls, if you've seen the blue bowls in my kitchen that I had, that were my favorite bowls when I was a kid, that's how I would eat the chili. And then I would put chili powder on top of it. We always had chili powder on the table. And I would sprinkle the chili powder on it to put more, because I loved chili powder. And then I would crunch, we would have just the regular saltines, and I would just crunch them all over my chili, and I loved it. It was so good. But like, chili is such a fall meal to me. Like when the leaves are falling, you know, and it's like sweater weather and all that kind of stuff. You know, like that's for me what chili's all about. Charlie Brown. What's chili all about, Charlie Brown? You know what I mean, though? Do you guys feel the same way? No? Okay. Oh, my Lanta. It's funny because some of the foods that I associate, like with fall and winter, that when fall and winter come around, I get excited about, are definitely not vegetarian foods. And they're also foods that I really disliked when I was a kid growing up. Like, I have to tell you, like, this is so weird to me. Like, even if I could have it, I probably wouldn't want to then, you know? But I crave meatloaf all the time. Is that not so weird? Like, I crave, and I think that there's like a vegetarian meatloaf that you can go get. There's like a roast or something. There's all kinds, they have vegetarian everything now. Oh my God, I was so hot. Let me just tell you, I was so mad. So Tanya and I were at the Meijer, right? And I'm looking through all the vegetarian stuff, and they had on the picture of this thing, it was called like Arnie and Annie's sausage or something like that. And on the cover of it, it was a picture of a sausage biscuit. I love sausage biscuits like nobody's business, okay? Sausage biscuits might be one of my favorite food groups in the entire world. I love them, okay? When I was growing up, my dad always had, do you guys remember the little Jimmy Dean sausage biscuits? You know, that you fry up for like 90 seconds in the microwave? Oh my God, I loved those so much. They didn't even, I don't even think they had cheese on them. I think they were just sausage biscuits. And they came in like a thing of like this. My dad always just had tons of those in the freezer. So I grew up just loving, and he made homemade ones too that were really good. He would put jelly on the biscuit and everything. Oh my God. Jam or jelly or whatever you guys call it, jelly. But like grape jelly on a sausage biscuit. If you've never tried it, try it. It's so good, even with cheese. Okay, but anyway. So I was so excited yesterday because I was like, I go, Tanya, I go, sausage biscuits, but they're vegetarian. And she goes, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, and they like, on the picture on the front of it made it look so good too. And I was like, okay, I cannot wait to get this home and to try this, dip this in a little bit of mayonnaise or that sriracha ranch or something that I have. I was so excited about it, right? So I get home and I'm like opening this thing, and Alex is down there in the kitchen when I was opening it or putting the stuff away, and I was talking about it, and I was like, I'm really excited about these. I said, oh no, I was like putting like this hummus and stuff together, and he was having a little bit of the hummus, and I said, and this is gonna be the main course of my meal right here. And because I'd also got some of those corn niblets that in butter sauce. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's just corn, just Jolly Green Giant corn in the butter sauce. I got some of that, but I didn't end up having it. But anyway, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make this sausage biscuit, and I'm reading the side of the thing where it talks about the microwave, and it said like put the sausage in the microwave for such and such amount of minutes and then flip it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Oh, it said there were 5 servings in the box. And I go, there is no way there are 5 of these big sausage biscuits up here in this box. So I opened this box. I paid like $4.39 or $6.79 or something. I don't know how expensive it was, but it was expensive. I paid for 5 sausage patties. I was so over it. I was so mad. I was like, I wanted my sausage biscuit so bad. But I'll tell you what I can do is I'm gonna keep them in the freezer, and then sometime I'm gonna go, because Wendy's has really good butter biscuits now for breakfast, and I'm gonna go to Wendy's and I'm gonna get what do you call it? Some of those butter biscuits. I'm gonna take them home and put that sausage in the microwave. I'm gonna grill it up, and that's what microwave it up. What do people say about microwaves? Nuke it up. I'm gonna nuke it up and put that sausage on those biscuits and eat it. It's gonna be so good. Look at that, Steak and Shake drive-thru is open. People are waiting there to get their shakes and stuff like that. Oh my God, you guys, when we were reading that book for the book club last month, the Lost Girls by John Glatt, the part where Michelle Knight, like her first meal that she had when she got out and she was in the hospital, was a cheeseburger and a cheese shake milkshake from Steak and Shake. That like melted my heart. I was like, after all that time of her not being able to, like, you know, eat what she wanted and all that stuff, and he would like food deprave her, that was like her first meal that she had. And she said something, I can't remember what she said, but she said it was like it was like ecstasy or something. But it also made me sad because I can remember my mom loved Steak and Shake, and she and my aunt used to eat it all the time when they were like growing up, or whenever they like first came out, they would go there all the time. And after my mom's funeral, after we went to go plan my mom's funeral at the funeral home, my aunt said, let's go to Steak and Shake. I was so hungry, I hadn't eaten in like 24 hours, you know. And so we got there, and I was all ready for to have, like, you know, Steak and Shake is kind of like a 50s diner, but it's a chain. And so I was like gonna get a double, you know, steak Frisco burger that's with 1,000 Island dressing and onion rings and all this kind of stuff. And the waitress came, and my aunt goes, we'll have a single, she said we'll have a single cheeseburger, or would we each have a single cheeseburger and we'll share a side of fries or something? I was like, what? I'm hungry. And she just handed the menu to them. I can't remember what it was, but we shared most of it. So anyway, but when my mom got really, really sick, and I called her and I said, because, you know, she was sick before she went into the hospital the first time. That was like in January. The end of like the last week in January was when I finally went over there, and I said, are you hungry? Have you been eating? And she's like, I just haven't really found anything that like is appetizing to me. She's like, I'm hungry, but like nothing is appetizing to me. Appetizing? Sounds appetizing. Yeah. Appealing? I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but anyway. So I said, well, why don't I bring you something from Steak and Shake, Mom? You love Steak and Shake. And she goes, okay. And I said, well, what would you like? And she goes, I guess I'd like a double cheeseburger from Steak and Shake and fries. They have those spaghetti fries there that I can't stand. My husband loves them. And she was like, and then I'll have just, a vanilla shake with whipped cream and a strawberry on it. And I said, okay, or not a strawberry, a cherry on it. I said, okay. So I brought her all this food. I was real excited, you know, because, like, wanted to make her happy. And I, like, put the food out. And it was like the same situation of when I was trying to get Pee-Pee to eat at the end. I mean, she just turned from it. She just was repelled from it. And she was like, well, maybe I'll eat a little bit of it later. And I'm like, you're not going to eat any of it? My mother, back in the day, I brought her 4 double cheeseburgers. My mother was never heavy, but like, had I brought her 4 double cheeseburgers from Steak and Shake and 5 fries and 2 milkshakes, she would have eaten it all down, like, right then. She loves Steak and Shake. She took like a bite of it, or I can't remember. She was like, oh, I'll just have a little bit. She didn't want to eat any of it. And I knew then, I was like, something is wrong. I knew it. I knew it in my heart. Well, listen, you guys, I'm going to get off here now, and I am going to... Now I'm hungry for Steak and Shake. They do have a good grilled cheese, though. I will say that. Grilled cheese and onion rings you can get from Steak and Shake if you're a vegetarian. So their salad sucks. Don't get a salad. But back in the day, I used to get their chicken finger salads, but they're not that good anymore. Like their salads are just kind of a couple pieces of lettuce and maybe a half a tomato or something like that, you know. Anyway, I hope you guys, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I hope that you guys are having, it's about to stop, so I want to finish it before it does. I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!